Gentlemen, Wall is the name standing before you. Max Wall, in the flesh, not a cartoon.
I'm dying to be what I'm not. I'd give everything that I've got to write plays like Coward or act like Howard. I am longing for Goldwyn to say, whatever you ask me, I'll pay. To make pictures for me, but hear my story. I was born on a dancing mat. I can play a guitar, but I'll have to do more than that, or they never will make me a star.
I don't wish the ladies in my audience tonight to get the wrong impression of me. Is that clearly understood? I don't wish them to get the wrong impression. Here. You have not the wrong impression of me. I love you. Come here. You weren't frightened, were you? I don't frighten people anymore since I had the nut and bolt taken out of his neck.
I admired him from the very beginning. Comedy just emanated from him. It was very hard to describe it. I remember I wrote one joke for him. He would come out on stage and I would say, "You look glum, Max. What happened? You get out of bed the wrong side this morning?" And Max would say, "What did you expect me to do? Jump over my father and mother?"
At the age of 6, I lost both my parents. What a card game that was.
Your father, he was a famous Scottish comedian, wasn't he?
Yes, he was, yes, Jock Lorimer. The Chinese Scotsman used to put a Chinese wig on with a pigtail down the back and sing, ching-a-ling-a-ling, ching-ching-a-ling-a-ling, hoo-chai, hoo-chai. It's a broadbrecht moonnecht, necht coming through the rye. Oh, I'm half Scotch and half Chinese, as sure as eggs are eggs. And I didn't care a damn if my old pigtail keeps on tickling my legs. This business, treading the boat, I was born in it. Born, I literally was. Believe me. Not in the trunk. Nothing like that. Remember Judy Garland, gorgeous one, she was little, or young. Born in a trunk at the Victoria Theatre. Yeah. I loved all that Yankee brashness. Nobody's born in a trunk. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I was born at home quite normally. Yes. It wasn't until after they saw me they put me in a trunk.
I'm a lucky hound to have someone to put my arms around. That's why I'm shouting so the world will know. Here I go. I'm Alabama bound.
A commercial traveller went to a hotel, checked in, went upstairs, unpacked his bag, cleaned his teeth, got his trousers off, put his pyjamas on, went to bed and read a book. And it was as simple as that. The next room was a honeymoon couple, walls were very thin, and this is what he heard. Whose little body is that? Whose is that? Whose is that? Whose is that body? Tell me whose body that is, quickly. Whose body? Whose is that? Whose is that body? He got fed up, didn't he? He got out of bed eventually and he banged on the wall. A man says, "Yes, what do you want?" He says, "Will you get your asses sorted out? I want to go..."
In 1955, when he was at the height of his success in the Pajama Game, the West End, a big hit, scandal broke. He separated from his wife. He left his wife and family, and then consequently he met up with a beauty queen and ran away with her. And the press were full of moral outrage, fake moral outrage. But it was as if he was an evil man, as if he'd done something desperate and awful, and it had a profound effect upon his career.
The marriage had gone, completely gone, you know. And I left because if I hadn't have left, I would have probably been hung, because they had the capital punishment in those days. Shut up laughing. No, it's true. If somebody had to leave, somebody had to break it up. And so it was me. I did so. I regretted it. I had remorse for years.
Yes.
But I was the ogre, and that's all it was. Now, I had left my wife and my children, which really broke me up. And I was in that condition for an awful long time until I met Jennifer, who was the beauty queen, whom I had judged in the semi-final at Morecambe quite a few weeks before and said goodbye to her. I met her again when I was in Pajama Game at the London Coliseum, and a friend of mine brought her in because she wanted to be on the stage, and I was opening up an office to discover new talent.
Max was unfortunate in some ways that he was around at the wrong time, because that scandal wouldn't have caused him any problems, even by the time of the 70s or 80s, certainly not the 90s and 2000, no problems at all. But in the 50s, it created a huge amount of damage and tremendous problems for him and his career. And there was no one there to control it. There was no one there to protect him. So he was thrown to the wolves, and the wolves in this particular case were the media.
He didn't have a satisfactory private life at all. And that's very difficult when you're not actually working. You know, you've got to try and find, I would have thought, some sort of happiness in the hours when you're not actually, you know, you don't rehearse 24 hours a day.
That's a lie. Oh, well, off we go. Plenty of energy, there's nothing like it.
At the same time, you have to remember, coincidentally, the variety theatres were closing. The shape of radio, which had been such a great provider for him, that was changing too. So all those things put together made Max Wall a deeply unfashionable figure. So up north he went and he did the rounds of the clubs. But the extraordinary thing about Max Wall was that you couldn't, when you talked to him about this, you could not detect any sense of bitterness in the man at all. He accepted what had happened to him as almost being part of his life. And I suppose that is what comics do. They actually make light of tragedy, and that's what he did in his own personal circumstances.
Rachmaninoff's Prelude.
What a funny answer.
There was a misapprehension that he died in poverty. He certainly didn't die in poverty, and he was a frugal man. That's a term he used himself. When he made quite a lot of money later in life, after having had a bankruptcy, he invested well and saw that it was left to his grandchildren, and he just liked to live in a small flat.
This is me telling you we'll meet again, and so until we do, I'll say good night, keep well, sleep tight and tell your friends all about